What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review as we are getting closer and closer to the end of reviews for this year. After this, 2 more reviews to do before it's year-end list time. So, I'm talking about the latest offering from Phobocosm, Gateway. This also came out on November 28th, this time on Dark Descent Records. This is the band's 4th studio full-length overall, and no surprise, my first time checking this band out. But I was curious to check this out courtesy of 2 things. 1, Dark Descent Records is always pumping out some great stuff, and 2, well, I saw the bands they were being compared to on the Metal Archives, and I thought, this sounds like could be up my alley, and, well, it is. So for those who don't know, this is a Montreal-based death metal slash death doom band. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of like dissonant death metal, old school death metal, and death doom kind of all mashed up into one. So yeah, I was curious to give this one a listen, and well, this is definitely a dark, murky, dissonant, nasty album, and it kicks it all off right away with the track Deathless. Dissonant tremolo riffs, atonal melodies. It's doomy as it can get. This is probably the doomiest song on the entire album. Like, there's no like big time flashiness, thrills, or anything like that. It's just pure discomfort through the dissonance, the doom, the chug, the lumbering grooves. But it does pick up in the speed with the following track, Unbound, where it gets right in the blast beats and tremolos of cavernous proportions. And again, like one of the big things on this album is the different speeds you get. Like you get like the really fast pummeling blast beats and tremolos you would expect out of a band like, say, Immolation, Incantation, bands along those lines, but mixing it with like lumbering grooves of bands like, say, Gatecreeper or Bolt Thrower, but adding in those dissonant notes of bands like Immolation, but also Ulcerate. Like, I get lots of Ulcerate nods with this album as well, but of course bringing in the doom. More specifically, I would say in bands like Hooded Menace, Disembowelment, and Spectral Voice in particular. So it's like a hodgepodge of all that into one album is what I would describe this insane release. But also you do get some triplet chugs on Unbound, which kind of brings in more of that old school death metal vibe. And then we move into Sempiternal Penance, which this one, like, immediately furious, fast pace, just foot on the gas, blast beats and tremolos of just very, I would say, almost akin to Vader at times because of just how fast it's really getting. But when the grooves come in to kind of break up the speed, it's like adding a nice extra dynamic to what is already a pretty dynamic album for the most part, but you're bringing in some more melody. Like, I will say melody was quite apparent on this album, but not pretty ones like uncomfortable, spooky, evil melodies that you would hear in some of those bands that I mentioned earlier. But of course, like darker chugging on the guitars to where it just adds like another layer of heft. And then the big standout, which is the longest track of the album at 8.5 minutes roughly, Beyond the Threshold of Flesh. This one basically just covers all of the basis of this album. Tremolo, dissonance, doomy riffs, blast beats, groove. It is unrelenting. But I actually really like how towards the end of the song, you get these like nice evil bends that almost kind of feel like something you would hear from an Immolation album, where you get these like kind of bends on the guitars to kind of just add that extra layer of sinister quality on top. Like, this whole album feels like you're inside of an echo chamber in hell, kind of, where you're just hearing all these dissonant sounds and just pummeling guitars and unrelenting drums, but also like doomy spookiness all together. Now, there were 3 other tracks I didn't talk about until now, and they're into parts, and they're the shorter tracks of the album at under 3 minutes apiece. the Corridor trilogy. Part 1, The Affliction, Part 2, The Descent, and Part 3, The Void, which was the closer. All three of these songs are instrumental interludes and outros, but they're done effectively and help connect the entire album together. All three of them are very doomy, very dissonant and atonal. Like, Corridor 1, The Affliction, that was really where the Hooded Menace vibes come in. And both it and Part 3, The Void, have those lumbering grooves. Whereas with Part 2, The Descent, you get more tremolo melodies. Then again, you do get a brief tremolo melody on Corridor 1, The Affliction, but more so on Corridor 2, The Descent. And I actually like how the tremolo melodies descend at the very end, and it leads perfectly into the beginning of Beyond the Threshold of Flesh, which actually starts off very much like The Descent did, with dissonant tremolo on top of a doomy build, but instead of just staying on that doom, it just goes right into blast beats. Production-wise, man, this album's got an interesting mix. Like, it's just made the sound as uncomfortable, cavernous, and dissonant as possible. The performances were off the charts. Like, these riffs were just dark and gloomy and sinister. The drum work, I actually like the different styles, like the doomy drums, lumbering drums, and of course the insane blast beats and turnovers going on here. And the vocals, low and deep and evil. That's all I can say about that. As far as any negatives go, I really don't have really any at all. I would say maybe the only thing that was like a minor nitpick would be just how similar Corridor 2, The Descent, and Beyond the Threshold of Flesh just start very much the same. I think if you would have put like Corridor 2... Actually, I think if you would have put Corridor 1, The Affliction, before Unbound, and then Corridor 2, The Descent, before Sempiternal Penance, just rearranged the track order, this would have been even better than it already is. But with all that said, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. Like, this is a fantastic, dissonant death metal, death doom album, kind of just wrapped up into one. Just dark, gloomy, sinister stuff right here. I would say if you're a fan of, I would say, Immolation, Ulcerate, Incantation, Spectral Voice, Disembowelment, Hooded Menace, you know, bands along those lines, I'd say check this out. This might be up your alley. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching, keep your horns high, and your dreams wet.